Hello, I'm Super Orange Cat here. I'm today with Toonami's ratings from Saturday, July 18th, 2020. Let's start at the top of the block. Dragon Ball Super pulled in a .18. Paranoia Agent pulls in a .15. Mob Psycho 100 Season 1 pulls in a .16. Black Clover pulls in a .15. Naruto Shippuden pulls in a .11. And Samurai Jack pulling in a .09. The numbers for Ball Masters are not available at this time. So, as you can probably tell from this title, this was an extremely bad week for Toonami. In fact, for non-marathon weeks, this was the lowest rated week in the history of the entire block, with the first time in history for a non-marathon week that there was not a single show that pulled in at least a .20. Now, like I said, a few times before, Dragon Ball Super pulled in a .20, and I believe once, maybe twice, My Hero Academia did as well. But this time, Dragon Ball only pulling in a .18. So, not good, and like I've mentioned over the last couple weeks, where Dragon Ball Super goes, the rest of the block goes as well. And since that had a bad week, everything else behind it also had a bad week, including the penultimate episode of Paranoia Agent at a .15. And that really wouldn't be much news, because like I said, a lot of these shows just follow the leader. They just follow what the show ahead of it does, and with Dragon Ball only getting a .18, Paranoia Agent dropping 300s, which normally would actually be kind of good, but with considering how low it starts from, not really as good. At the same time, pretty interesting to see what next week does, considering it is the finale of Paranoia Agent, and certainly next Saturday, with this upcoming Saturday, with the Toonami making their announcements, with their big Adult Swim Virtual Con, we will almost certainly know what that replacement is. I'll talk about early frontrunners for that in a second. You have Mob Psycho 100 with the closest thing to a good week, I would say here. It gets a .16, building on Paranoia Agent, which is interesting considering Mob Psycho 100 is a Toonami rerun, and while Paranoia Agent is also technically a rerun, it's technically a premiere for Toonami. So interesting to see, just signify just kind of how strong Mob Psycho is as a brand. I think a lot of people are looking forward to and hoping that at the Adult Swim Virtual Con, the announcement will come that they finally have season 2. Again, more of my opinions on that in a moment as well. Black Clover going to a .15. It only dropped 400s, which is like, it's a lot. It's like, yeah, but Dragon Ball dropped a full 10th. Paranoia Agent dropped like 900s. Mob Psycho dropped 700s. So considering that that's not much of a drop, that's not really a bad week for Black Clover. It's had better, but I'm pretty sure it's also had worse as well, which is interesting to note. Shipping it at a .11. Again, you really can't say much about the show anymore. It's here for the long haul. It's going to be here through, I think someone did the math and said probably December 2024. Shippuden is going to be on the block. So it's a filler. And then you have Samurai Jack, which I've been told that they're running promos with Samurai Jack. So I guess you can't officially say it is part of Toonami. Interesting, they never made any announcement regarding it. They just kind of put it on the block. But nonetheless, at a .09, it's shades of fall 2018. Fall 2018, the only time we've ever had a period where any part of the block got below a .1, which I just remember that being just an ugly time. A lot of people fretting about the future of the block then. However, back then it did recover, and I forgot how. I want to say it was because early 2019, we just got a lot of good show pickups, you know? Because I think, yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what happened back then. It's sometimes hard because all the different news and different shows you get for Toonami, it's hard to figure out which show came before the other, but I think that's the reason why. And that being said, maybe we have refuge, because again, Adult Swim Virtual Con is coming up soon. Well, technically starting this Thursday. I believe they're doing like a demonstration with the new Samurai Jack game Friday night. So that's a bit of, I guess, Toonami news since Samurai Jack's on Toonami again. That's probably the reason why it's on Toonami right now is to promote the game, but nonetheless, also the fact that Saturday at midnight, there will not be a quote unquote panel for Toonami at this virtual con, but the block itself is going to kind of serve as it. we're basically gonna have interstitials like during commercial breaks, before shows, talking about the new announcements about Toonami and what they have. And at least they're hyping it up to the point where they have a commercial. They've had like commercial bumper. They've been running on normal Adult Swim too. I remember watching Loiter Squad this morning. At the end of one of the episodes, they had the bump saying that, "Oh, announcements for Toonami this upcoming Saturday." You know, it'll be interesting to see what these announcements are always. And like, there's some obvious picks, like, well, we're gonna get more information about Uzumaki. Production IG already said at their Anime Expo light panel that they're gonna have another show announcement with Toonami at this event as well. So we're gonna get a new show name, as in like Toonami original show name. Probably get some information about Blade Runner Black Lotus. As much as we're gonna get, I don't know. We haven't seen anything from it yet. The only thing we've gotten from it is Jason DeMarco at multiple points saying, "Oh, the music's going well. The music's going well." You know, so I guess the music is going well. So that's one thing they're really hyping up with this. Uzumaki. I think we got a teaser trailer. We've gotten a little bit of animation back when this was announced a while back. We've gotten some storyboards from it. But again, a lot of people are really looking forward to a date, considering they already announced in the past it was going to air in 2020. The most likely date being October 10th, because, like I mentioned before, it's supposed to be 4 weeks, four episodes long. And if you start on the 10th, that means the last episode airs on Halloween night, which is a very tempting thing to do. So again, that's kind of the date marked in red with that. And also, man, also talking about like what other show announcements we're gonna get, because there's a lot of like they've been really hyping this up as being like a big news thing for Tommy, a big event. So again, it's like if we just get a little bit of information about Uzumaki, some information about Black Lotus, and like the announcement of the new show they're doing a production IG, then then a lot of people are still gonna be pretty disappointed, because especially considering how this has been a generally a very dismal year for Toonami. People really feel like they should, choke up and really swing for the fences here. And a lot of people are talking about, well, what's Paranoia Agent's replacement? Because, like I said, Paranoia Agent's last episode will be this next Saturday night. So, I mean, and some of the high contenders are, like a lot of people, like I mentioned already, Mob Psycho 100 Season 2, kind of been one of the wonder walls for this block. As in, I think more than a year ago, people were certain, like, I remember last summer when we were getting the announcement for Fire Force, Season 1 of Fire Force coming to the block. Everyone thought beforehand, like, oh, it's either this Fire Force show, which has been really hyped up, or we finally get Mob Psycho Season 2. What would you know? There's a possibility we get an announcement for Fire Force Season 2 before we ever get Mob Psycho Season 2 at this point. Who would have guessed that? But again, and that's another thing, Fire Force Season 2. Considering that Funimation is already bailed on the simuldub, I am it would be beyond stupid for Toonami to pick it up at this point, because there's only 2 episodes ready, and there's probably gonna be only 2 episodes ready for quite a while. And if Toonami does run Fire Force, they're gonna have to find a way to replace it mid-season, because, like I said, Funimation is, especially with things being as they are now, are doing a very slow job with dubbing. So I would not put any faith in something they haven't dubbed yet, which again also says if it's something new, like currently airing right now in Japan, it's almost an automatic no as well, which leads to kind of another show a lot of people have been really talking about, and that is Keep Your Hands Off Aizuken. I'm probably pronouncing a lot of that wrong. And it's not the biggest anime of this year, even considering what little we've really gotten from this year in anime, but it's kind of become like a hipster's choice in a way. And it's one of those things where it really feels like it's almost astroturf to me, to be honest. I haven't seen that many people actually talk about the show or really say how much they like about the show. But people who are like bigger names with regards to anime, like in particular, Jason DeMarco loves the show. He at least tweets about it all the time. And again, something I'd mentioned before is that a few weeks before we got the announcement we had Paranoia Agent, he had a kind of a Twitter storm where he tweeted a lot about Paranoia Agent. And some people are connecting the dots saying maybe because that's the next show in the works for Toonami. And I really think that is a real possibility we get that show. I have no idea what the dubbing situation is. If it's something that hasn't been dubbed yet, then I mean, it's not happening. But if it's like completed dubbed, I think they're gonna jump on it and go for it. And also, I'm trying to think of other selections. A lot of people were talking about how about they get like another long runner because you have all these short runners. You have to get all the if you have a lot of short shows, you have to buy more shows, and that's a lot of money. So why not get like another long runner or two and just kind of stick those in the back of the block for stability? Yeah, but the problem is Adult Swim doesn't really have the rights to any long runners. Like, for example, Inuyasha is me Sunrise has the rights to those. OG Naruto, Viz Media has the rights to those. I think they're doing something where they've given the rights to air the English version on like Funimation. So they probably have like temporary rights. And if that's true, then there's no way in hell that OG Naruto would ever air on Toonami again. Other things, other shows like Yu Yu Hakusho. Again, it's on Hulu, so it's not going to be here, And also, I also think Viz Media owns the rights to that, but nonetheless, And again, it's like they don't own the rights to those, And you can't just throw it on the block. You have to pay money, and especially if it's a bigger name like something like a Naruto or a Yu Yu Hakusho or a Sailor Moon, that's going to cost a lot of money, and that's something Tanami really can't afford at this point. So I think a long runner's out. And another show a lot of people have really been talking about, I've been talking about, is Konosuba. I mean, it would be tailor made to fit on Toonami. It's shonen enough, and you could talk about, well, it's basically light novels. Like, yeah, but you have had all Sword Art Online so far, so there's already been precedent for that. And also the fact that it's a very good, very funny show, and there's already 2 seasons available too. Another thing people talked about is Food Wars. I don't think Food Wars is coming back for a while. Same thing with Boruto. I don't think they're going to get Boruto back. I would not be surprised if we never see Boruto on the block again. And that would be just really sad considering how it actually rated really well on Toonami. Nonetheless, what do you guys think is going to happen at Adult Swim Virtual Con? Again, they're just going to make announcements on Toonami this next Saturday. It's going to be a pretty big night. But what are your thoughts about these ratings? What are your thoughts about Adult Swim Virtual Con? Leave your comments, leave your opinions down below. I love reading them. If you like this content or Tommy News content, please like, comment, and subscribe. I am Super Orange Cat, and that is all.